in high school, it really tainted how I view females, like female friendship and stuff, because I mean, I was betrayed by like someone I trusted, my friend. I wasn't really thinking too much about like female friendship, but now I have a family, I have my man, I just feel like that's something I wish I do have. Yeah, I don't think women are shallow. Like I probably think that women are shallow before, like as if like I'm a different one.
Back in the day, like you mentioned, I thought that, I mean, women are just really petty and like
Yeah,
they have like the superiority complex where I
yeah.
have to be
Or
above
competitive,
you,
something.
and stuff like that. And I kind of hated that, that idea how women are. And like you have to always prove yourself, which is kind of it sucks, because you already have to prove yourself to yourself, and now you have to prove yourself to other women, which is, I feel like, a lot. We always have to
Right.
present ourselves a certain way, make sure that women approve,
Yeah,
our
yeah.
ways, like the way we dress, the way we look, how we present ourselves, how we talk to other guys. It was just a lot.
Welcome to the Hello Dai Podcast. We are your hosts, Sheila
and Misha.
We are two childhood best friends who are now ambitious working moms trying to manage it all while conquering our dreams. Started this podcast to create a safe space for women to be their unapologetic selves.
Each episode contains powerful stories from both of us and other women sharing the real, raw, and honest stories and insights on adulthood, motherhood, self-improvement, being a woman in today's society, and everything in between.
If you're looking for digital BFFs, you're in the right place.
So without further ado, let's hear from today's podcast.
Welcome to another episode from the Hello Dai Podcast. We are your hosts, Sheila
and Misha.
In today's episode, we are going to talk all about female friendships, and I'm very excited for this episode. I do find this very interesting, and I do have a lot of insights and experience regarding female friendships, and I cannot wait to hear your insights and experience to Dai. So without further ado, let's dive in. So I'm going to start a little about my story. So basically, this goes all the way back to elementary, and I'm not just going to talk about elementary just for the heck of it. My elementary friendships are for life. Basically, I am still connected with my elementary best friends, and they are my best of friends, and they have been proven and tested through time. And that's also a testament to our podcast right here with me and my long-term elementary friend, Misha, right here. So basically in elementary, I didn't really have a hard time building friendships. And I do have a couple of, best friends here and there. But I do have my two main girl groups. So the first group is with me, Misha, and our friend Jaza. And the other girl group is with now I call them my momshies, since I became a mom at an early age at 19. And at the time, Misha didn't have kids at all. So I guess we didn't really bonded over that. But my momshies, they were already moms. They do have a lot of experience with that. And so, it was kind of easy for us to reconnect and, talk about stuff in life. So I cannot really say anything negative about my friendships in elementary. In fact, elementary was the best days of my life in school in general. Basically, a lot of people probably say that college is the best, or even high school would be the best. But for some, I also hear that high school is the worst, which is gonna be like, I would agree. But yeah, for me in general, it's definitely not college. It's definitely my elementary. And that's because of my girl friendships. And I do find my female friendships from elementary very irreplaceable. And so, I know I talk highly a lot about my elementary friendships, and that's because that is really the case for me. So, moving on in high school, I wish we had a talk with my friends in elementary that we would go to the same school. I don't know, it just never really came up. I wish we had a talk about that, like going to the same school. But, I guess for me, I did look forward to high school because I thought that, okay, it's gonna be, new experience and I will form new friendships there. And I was very excited and looking forward to high school. But it was very difficult in high school. It was a little hard to get to know people, in a deeper level in high school. So, in high school, we're kind of experiencing these hormonal changes. Like, there's just a lot of going on when you're in high school. So, I don't really blame other students, of course. Like, we all went through different stuff in high school for sure. So in high school, I did form a few friendships here and there, but mostly there were friendships for fun. I did feel sometimes a bit isolated for sure. Basically, I did experience a lot of bullying from both men and also women. I think especially women. So I didn't have my elementary friends in this school, okay? So I was far away from you, Dai, and you were in another school. I just felt isolated in this school, basically because of all the bullying and the issues I've experienced in first year high school. And because of those issues, I had to move to a new school. And I think we chatted back then, and you told me that you go to this school, and then I was like, okay, sure, I'm gonna go there since you're one of my best of friends. So I went to that school and we're schoolmates, but I think we only were classmates one time, like in second year only. And then from third year to fourth year, we were, in different sections. So, we didn't really hang out as much as we'd like because we were in different sections. That was a bit difficult, but I did form different friendships as well, with my classmates, right? Since we're in different sections. So I did form different friendships with my classmates, and I do have this one girl which I hang out a lot. And we would, do our makeup together, gossip, talk about boys and, all our secrets and stuff like that. So I really did care for her. I totally wanted to get to know her on a deeper level. So that's the friendship I have there. We hang out a lot. It was okay in that second school, although there were also some bullying and stuff like that. But, I think friendships really helped me in that way. And we also have this one particular girl, and she is actually this popular girl, and she's very gorgeous, okay? And once in a while, she would hang out with us, the girl that I was talking about that was very close to me. And sometimes she would just join us, like do our makeup in the bathroom and gossip a little bit. But I didn't really talk to her about secrets and stuff like that because, I just had the impression that, she would talk things about her other group of friends, because she did have different group of friends. And, basically we weren't really that close, And then something happened, okay? So remember the thing that I always talk about, like when we would go to the bathroom and do our makeup? So my mom, she would actually send me makeup products abroad, okay? So these are kind of expensive products, and I would have this makeup pouch and then these different makeup brands, and that's what I would use, okay? So there's only two people basically that will borrow my makeup: the famous girl, the one that's not very close to me, and the other friend that I always hang out with. So those are the two people that I always, lend my makeup with. And then I started to notice that it's just different stuff gradually missing. And this friend of mine, like the close one, the one that I always hang out with, she would then tell me or put ideas in my head that the famous girl, she's actually the one stealing from me. She's actually the one taking my stuff. And because we were close and I trusted her, she would make stories that would make sense and I would believe her because I trusted her. And so because of that, I grew resentment over this famous girl. And so I didn't really confront her because, of course, I don't want to accuse anyone without valid proof. But what I did was I just didn't lend her my makeup anymore. And when you're in high school, you would sometimes hang out in your friend's house. That was the case for me. I would often go to her house and we would hang out. And then one day, I was in her room. I was just looking around her place and I actually noticed my makeup bag, my makeup pouch, okay? I was like, okay, I made up reasons in my head because I didn't want to think that she was actually the one stealing my stuff, or maybe she just have the same bag. So I gave her the benefit of the doubt. When I looked inside the bag, I found various products, okay, and those were my makeup products. I just felt dizzy for some reason and I just felt completely surprised. But I was still in the state of shock. I didn't really confront her. I don't know, it was a bit awkward. It was super awkward, I just pretended like, okay, I'm gonna go home and stuff like that. And so when I was riding transportation going home, I just really thought about that and I texted her. I asked her like, why were you stealing from me? Like, why would you do that to me? And since then, I never really trusted her again. It wasn't like it was friendship over. It was more on I was more cautious whenever I'm with her, or I'm more cautious to what I'm telling her. I just felt like, oh, okay, you can't really trust anyone, basically. No matter how much you think that you're close with this person, you don't really know the person entirely. So that was a huge deal breaker for me. And I really felt that it was a one-sided friendship, basically. But at the time, I did had this belief that the more you give, the more you will receive, And so I was giving all of me. Basically, I was an open book to this person. I, offered like help as much as I can emotionally. Sometimes I would even lend her money. And then after we graduated from high school, we just grew apart and we never really talked anymore since graduating from high school. So that was it basically in high school. And for us, Dai, we weren't really able to talk a lot as much as we'd like, or hang out a lot, because there were just a lot of things going on in our separate lives. And we can talk about that in another episode, because like it is going to be juicy, like what happened in high school beyond the girl friendships. It's a lot. For some reason, I decided to take the course information technology, and based from that, you can already tell that majority of the students are going to be male because it's IT. I wasn't wrong. There were only a few girls really in that course, and for some reason I didn't really hang out a lot with the girls there in that section. And I actually developed this like cringy attitude, I'm a bit embarrassed to talk about it, but that's the truth, okay? So I became a pick-me girl, basically. In short, a pick-me girl, okay? I felt superior over my other girl classmates. I don't know why. And I would hang out with guy friends. I basically pretended to be this cool girl. I would hang out with this male group a lot. Like we would go to internet cafes and I would play games, and I would just act this cool girl for some reason, and I would feel superior. Oh, I'm not like other girls, which is super cringe just thinking about that right now. At that time, I really don't know what I was trying to achieve, or who I'm trying to prove myself to. And I did have like a few male friends, like we bonded, like we talk a lot, like deep level stuff in life. And those two closest male friend that I had, they catch feelings for me. That basically ruined the friendship. And so whenever I would hang out with my male friends, I just keep it on the low, just keep it cool. Basically, I didn't really want to open up too much, and I didn't really want them to open too much to me, because again, my experience with male friends, like they catch feelings. That's just based on my experience, because I did have two male friends which I was very close to. I talked to them like a lot of things, and we bonded over those experiences and views, but like they started catching feelings, and so our friendship was basically over. So with this male group, I just keep it cool, I guess that's where the cool girl persona came from. But I guess looking back at that time, I guess I just felt lonely. Since you went to different school, Dai, you were in a different school. And so I just had this idea that you already have your own group, you have your own girl clique. And I did have bad experiences with girl friendships in high school, and I cannot really resonate with my current girl classmates. And I thought that my OG best friends are, occupied with their own lives, and they probably already have their own circle of friends. So I didn't really want to interrupt, and I just thought that maybe I can find that with men. Okay, maybe I could find that connection with male friends. And so I tried to connect with male friends. And so in second year college, I went to Cebu to study for second year. So I took the psychology course. Pretty much there's a lot of female classmates there, so I did form some friendship. But I do have this one particular friend. We just formed this genuine friendship. At least that's how I view it. Okay, and pretty much throughout our friendship, I always try to help her, because at that time she was struggling financially because she has family problems, and I would offer her emotional support, sometimes financial support. If I can give her something, I will do it, because I was really invested in maintaining this friendship. I don't know, sometimes she would like block me at times, and I just don't know why. Like from time to time, she would then just chat me out of the blue and send me this long message of how she misses me, and how things in her life is just super messy and hectic. She would go on and on about it. I would always be like, okay, it's fine, I understand. Do you want to hang out? Do you want to catch up? And after I got pregnant and all of that, we just really grew apart. And, she would do the same thing. Like, she would block me, and then she would send me a message, and then like it's a whole cycle at this point. And I just reached to the point where I just give up. Like, obviously she doesn't really want to invest in our friendship, and honestly, I really think that she doesn't really care about me. That's how I just let go that friendship, but I don't hate her at all. I wish the best for her. I wish her like all the good things in life. At some level, I understand her, like her struggles, especially when we were in college. Even though we didn't know each other that much, I still cared for her. But it's just that, this kind of friendship, like I had to let it go because it's not healthy for me. So yeah, that's a lot for me, Dai. But yeah, I want to know, what about you, Dai? How is your experience with this? Like, what was your girl friendship like?
Goodness gracious. So let's rewind back to my life where, yes, in elementary everything was, all about crushing, about having these boy crushes and just
Yeah.
crying over them for no freaking reason. Now that I look back, it was like, ugh, just so nonsense. But and then let's move on to high school, because you did tackle a little bit about it on about elementary. We had like similar things that we had going. And moving into high school, freshman year, I got bullied as well. For the
Oh,
fact
okay.
that I was close with a guy.
But by you were bullied by.
A group of people, and most of them were
Okay.
female. Most of them were female, and what happened was that I was talking to this guy who was sophomore. What am
Yeah.
I
Sophomore.
sophomore. So I was talking to this guy. We were just really friends. He was basically kind of like my neighbor, but did I find out later that he actually has a crush on me. This guy was basically my neighbor. He admitted to me that he had feelings for me, but I was trying to hook him up with my friend, quote friend, because then she ended up bullying me because I was talking to the guy.
Oh.
So I'm not sure if that was the reason why she bullied me, but that kind of was like, why were you talking to this guy? I'm sorry. I was trying to hook you up, girl, with this guy, but apparently my efforts, backfired because then he admitted he had feelings for me. I didn't tell her that because that wasn't my goal. I didn't want to ruin the friendship that I had with this female friend. And we just didn't talk after that. I was bullied. My books were thrown on the floor and stuff like that. It was very dramatic, like in the movie. Yes, and there were like clicks on one side, and then
like in the movies. Wow.
no, mine was really dramatic.
Wow.
And then on top of that,
Very main character vibes.
and then I was cyberbullied. They told me to jump off the cliff and stuff like that. Someone else reached out to me, saying, "Hey, did you know that this person posted about you?" And I was like, "No," because this person blocked me. All of their group of friends blocked me on social media, and I didn't find out till this other friend that wasn't even really close to me messaged me, like, "Hey, did you see this post? Your name is on it. Do you know about it?"
I think that's too much. That like to say someone to kill themselves. It's basically telling someone to kill themselves.
Yeah,
I
so
think
no one loves you.
I haven't
Jump off
experienced
the
that.
cliff.
Wow, yeah, that is mean. I didn't know that. Like, wow.
Yeah, it went to the principal's office. It was like that.
Oh, really? How did that take place?
As soon as this person reached out to me about this about the cyberbullying, I screenshotted the hell out of that thing, sent it to my teacher, and I was like, "Hey, this is what transpired." And this teacher sent it to the principal, and the whole group.
Oh.
The clique was then in the principal room apologizing to me. And so like even the guard knew about my story. That's how popular I was on freshman year.
Wow. Yeah. I didn't know that because I was in a different school, right? Yeah. Wow, very
and the thing is I clicked with this chick because she spoke English. So I was like, yay, we can finally bond. I have someone that spoke, English and was comfortable with, and wouldn't be intimidated by me. But we're all grown up now. She is successful at what she does, and I salute her for doing what she does now. I mean, she did apologize. At that time, I wasn't sure if it was sincere, but I'm sure we're all over it now. It made me the person who I am today, and I thank her for that. I mean, it didn't bring me down. I mean, at that time, yeah, sure. But then right now, looking back, I'm like, now I'm able to judge people. I'm not so trusting in a sense, but at the same time, I give, people opportunity to actually explain themselves before like jumping into conclusions, because she did not confront me whatsoever. Like, hey, is this what really happened? No, just straight up. When she found out that I probably talked to this guy, it was the end of the world at that point. She's like, you're not gonna hear my side of the story. And I thought we were friends. And when you think about friends, you're supposed to hear them out. Not sure you hear rumors about what happened, right?
Yeah.
But then you should talk to them and confirm it, because that's your friend.
Oftentimes, like when you hear stories, it's very exaggerated and like far from the truth. And then when you actually talk to the person, like it really, that happened to me a lot. Like, there's this rumor, and then I would talk to the person, and it's really far from their perspective. Like it's you can really know where they're coming from. Like oftentimes, like it really clears things up, right? Because you actually hear from that person. So yeah, high school, gossip is really, Right.
It's
Awful.
crazy. And then I think they tried to, I'm not sure if it was like they wanted to be superior of some sort.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and then that's kind of my downfall in popularity. Uh, the second year, third year, fourth year, it was all of a blur because I like Mr. R that didn't, you know, he was my first official ish boyfriend. And then
Yeah.
he ended up dating the person that bullied me, which was,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it was insane. Okay, that was basically my high school life. And then college, I took up international studies, which majority of them were female. So you're forced to
Mhm.
be friends with female anyway.
Oh, yeah. Mm-mm. I should
It-
have thought about that guy. I should have thought like,
yeah, it's just a bunch of females, and there's barely any males at that point. So what happened was that I had braces then in college, and then we had a group called Team Braces because we just bonded over braces. Oh gosh, and that's kind of how it started. My college friends and stuff like that. To this day, I do communicate with some of them, which is nice. I mean, it's tough because they don't really know. It's been 5 years. I haven't really seen them or anything like that. We haven't really chatted about life. We were not super close to begin with. I mean, I wouldn't think we're super close, but we're friends. Does that make sense?
yeah.
Um, there's not that level of closeness that was created in
Like,
college. Girl, we've been friends since elementary. And we share a lot of
okay.
experiences together.
Yeah.
Girl, if we talk back about how you ran into my home in the middle of the night, you know,
Yeah.
there are so many stories that made us who we are and how we are as friends because we've bonded on a lot of stuff. Some of them are not the greatest stuff, but that made our friendship stronger because we understand and we don't judge each other for the dumb decisions that we've made. um and we see how far we've come, and we respect that for each other, and we don't I just say that we respect each other, and that's how our friendship is the way it is. It's because we understand and respect each other,
Right.
you know.
Yes. Agree. So how is it that now of course in school I think that it's so much easier to make friends in school because you're forced to be with this person the whole
Yes.
time. But uh it's a whole different thing when you become an adult because I try to make friends. How do I don't know, how do I try to make by workspace, yeah, like through work I make friends. I had this girl, we were interviewed in the same day and we were kind of like eyeing each other because and then yeah, we developed some friendship, we worked together. When I have a new job I would tell her like, do you want to apply so we can be together? But I really love hanging out with her, but when you become an adult, there's so many things that's happening in her life and also me. So it's sometimes it's very hard to like find, especially when like in your early 20s you're trying to make money. It's difficult when you're an adult. So I think because we work together, so there were many times that we would hang out because we work together. But
Yeah.
if you don't work together, like how do you really find
Maintain.
maintain? Yeah, it's hard to maintain friendships when you become an adult. So how does that look to you, Doug? For me, I don't try anymore. I just, like connect with, friends that I know that really are proven and like, I do have friends like that, like my mom friends, all of that. So I do, talk to them since we bonded a lot, especially now we're mothers and now you and I are mothers. So yeah, and then I think it's perfectly fine. Like I don't really need a huge friend because it's a lot of maintaining to do if I do have a lot of friends. But I just wish I do have like that, like a clique that you would always go to for every like events and parties. And I saw this TikTok where it was like a prank on their boyfriends or their male partners, where they bought like this outfit for like the same outfit for
Yeah.
like a Thanksgiving. Probably, I think you saw that maybe. And then people were amazed, like, you have that much friends, and they're already, some of them, they already have kids, like they're adults, and they spend Thanksgiving, and like it's a friend group. So I just realized, like I feel like I'm missing out on something, because like I don't have that. Like, I don't know, how does he do that, like
I
maintaining
feel
that.
like that only happens when, for example, in my case, it's my husband's friends. So my husband
Oh,
has built a friendship throughout high school and stuff like that, and then
right.
I hang out with his friends
Mm-mm,
and their
mm-mm. Yeah,
wives.
same
And
story, yeah.
so it's kind
Mm,
of, you bond over the friendship of your partner. So if you're,
yeah,
let's say if Javon had like a bunch of friends and then they had wives and stuff like that and had kids,
that's true.
that potentially could be someone you bond with, because then wherever Javon goes, there's
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
So
That's
that's
true.
similar with me too. It's like wherever Landon goes, I hang out with him, I hang out with his friends, and I hang out with a wife, and I hang out with the kids.
Yeah, that's true, Guy. But I think when I went to Cebu for the first time, Jivan already has his group of friends in college.
Yeah.
And I did hang out because like I had no choice, like that's his friends.
Yeah.
So although I bonded with some of them, like the girls and some of the boys, like the boys actually end up to be my some of my kids' godfather. So that's how like they bonded, and they're really nice guys. They're not like just douchebags and stuff. So I think Jovan really knows how to pick some friends, but there were also not so good friends. But he knows how to connect with other people, which is I'm not good at. So it's kind of a convenience that he has some friends that easy to connect with. But I cannot help but feel like an outsider, because like they have their own, like inside jokes
Yes.
and like
Yes.
stuff,
Yes.
like it's very awkward to be in that position. But I think though, the one that you're referring to, like Landon and his friends and then their wives, I think that would be a different, because I think automatically when like moms, they already have bonds, so I haven't tried that with Jivan and his friends, since we grew apart after being an adult, right? They have their own lives. Some of them have babies, some of them not. So we don't really have like a parent, like they have wives and stuff. So yeah, we're people are not in that stage yet.
Yeah, mine's a little tough because I moved to the US like 5 years ago. And then when I started dating Landon, we have moved multiple times, or like
Oh
probably
yeah.
like 5 times in the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was never really able to create roots anywhere.
Right.
So it was definitely rough for me to make friends. I mean, I became so desperate that I joined Bumble. Bumble.
I did that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I joined Bumble
Bumble
BFF.
for friends,
Yes.
right? BFF. I did that like last year because I was like, I need friends.
So I did Bumble BFF, and I did find really good people there, and they were actually one of my bridesmaids. I mean, all three of them are my bridesmaids. So I still talk to them to this day. I moved back, so now they're in the same spot where I am. So I'm hoping to, hang out with them more and stuff like that. Because, like you said, it feels like you're an outsider. This because it's your husband's friends, and you're
Yeah.
just joining in their
Yeah.
friend group, and they have their inside jokes, they have experiences together that you don't relate because you were never a part of it. And so that's why I joined Bumble BFF to find
Yeah.
my own friend, something that
Own
I can
friends.
call
Yeah.
mine,
Mine.
something
Yeah.
separate
Right.
from your husband, because I know that you share everything with your husband, but
Yeah. But
I want something for myself.
my own, myself. So I did try that, the Bumble BFF, but unfortunately, only a few women actually are there. I mean, only a few people like knows that app. And then I also tried to join, like I did try to look for there is like an event. Like it's a website where like people would post events and then people would just join and click together. So it really depends on your interest. So
Oh.
I did look for that, but it was back in Cebu. But I'm really looking for like a girl, exclusive for girls and then go out for brunch and stuff. But I did found out that it's like in the US. Like there's nothing in the Philippines like that. So
I mean, you can
just
always start a Facebook group, and then just reach out to moms in CDO and then start to see if like people start posting about, hey, like I'm in this area and stuff like that. I feel like that has become a big thing. I'm actually part of a Facebook group for May 2022 for moms, I mean, who have babies in May
yeah.
2022. And so
I also have
I've actually
mom group.
learned a lot
Mhm.
by reading through those
Yeah.
because there's experienced moms that
Yeah.
have the same
True. True.
questions, moms that are
Mhm.
going
Yeah.
through the same thing. Because
Right.
right now, I mean, I don't really have mom friends that have
Mhm.
the same age as my son.
Yeah, that's true. I think the Facebook groups really help. I think when I was going through, oh yeah, I was pregnant with my second kid, and I was kind of heartbroken, but I was upset that my baby wasn't a boy. It's so weird because I always wanted to have a boy and she's a girl, and I just expressed this feeling in the group.
Yeah.
I was very honest, and they were very accepting. They were not judging me. They told me that they weren't also condescending whatsoever. Like you just accept like what God gives you, but
Yeah.
like a lot of them also relate to me, like
Yes.
how they felt. But they always say that things always just work out, like eventually when you see your child, which is so true because I fell in love with I love my daughter right now, and I wouldn't want that to change so
Yeah.
Facebook groups for moms, they're very respectful because I think that's also in the rules, and they're very supportive as well. So yeah, and there was like a lot of comments, like 300 plus. That's how, yeah, I feel like I cannot cater to every comment. That's how they were like really, and there were very long stories. Like they would actually type their,
Yeah. They
experience.
really want to be engaged in the conversation. It's because they understand, and
Mm,
they also understand where you feel alone, and you don't want to be judged and stuff like that, so they want to make sure that they
mm,
express themselves as well because they can relate to you. That's what's nice about groups that have that same interest. Sometimes some moms are mean, not gonna lie, some they
yeah.
are, but you don't really have to care about those. It's just the feeling of support, even though if it's social media, even though
Yeah.
if it's a complete stranger. I feel like
Sure. Mm,
it's warm for the heart. It's
yeah.
very nice to feel supported or acknowledged,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least.
Like your feelings are valid that at the time.
Yes.
Yeah, they were really valid. And because in my head I sounded so ungrateful. I
Yes.
kind of judged myself like, why am I thinking this way? Like I'm a
Mhm.
horrible mom for thinking, like I'm not happy about at that time. So yeah. It's very helpful. So, but where are you right now, Dai, when it comes to, or like, are you actively seeking friendships, or are you maintaining any like past friendships, like aside from me right now?
I try to maintain the friendships that I already have.
Mm,
It's just challenging sometimes because then I forget, because like I have things going in my head. I'm working, I'm a mom, I have to,
yeah,
I'm also a wife and stuff like that.
so hard.
It's a lot, and then I have to like set aside. I was like, oh right, I have to schedule myself. I was like, oh, on Tuesdays I actually reach out and say, how are you? Because it's just
Yeah,
I have to put them on my schedule. Like, oh, I
yeah,
sometimes when I'm sitting in bed, nursing my child, I'll be like, oh, I have to message this person back.
yeah, yeah,
And I don't want to create new friends right now.
mm,
It's
yeah,
exhausting already. I already have a bunch of people that I have to keep in touch with,
mm,
and I don't want to add to that list right now. It's
yeah,
just too much. And what's hard is that these friends of mine that I'm trying to maintain relationships with are far away. They're
mm,
in the Philippines. So I've created friendships at work. I've created friendships in college. I've also created some friendships here in the US. and because I move so much, they're long distance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all of my friends, most of my friends are long distance, and I just try to make sure that they know that I do think of them. It's just
Mm,
challenging,
right.
to actually keep up. I'll probably message you today and then no, I won't respond back probably 2 days
Mm.
later. So my response
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
is like 2 to 3 business days.
Yeah. Like a business, yeah, yeah. I think everything now is kind of scheduled. Even my sex, you have to. Okay, I don't know if I have a free time right now or like it's you know so everything has to be scheduled. But yeah, because I'm always so busy with everything, like keeping the house. Like I haven't cleaned for like a day, and it's already so messy because I was also filming yesterday, so you know, yeah, it's so hard to keep up with everything with friendship. But for me, I am very open to creating new friendships for sure. I do want to have like someone to go out brunching with. Not, I think it's easy to go with someone for parties. I mean, I have my my partner's friends, to go out. But I don't know. I no, I think for parties it's a bit difficult because we're all adults now and it's not like we're in college. So
Yeah, and my knees
yeah,
hurt. My knees hurt. Okay. Like when I
yeah,
wear heels, I'm like, and then trying to like get it, like get low. I
yeah, yeah.
was like, ooh, my knees and my back
Right.
hurt.
Yeah. I think brunch would be okay. That would be,
Yeah, I'm at
just like
that stage where I was like, let's just
normal.
grab coffee
Yeah,
and like
exactly.
grab
Right.
brunch. Because
I
I mean,
don't really think about partying, but like I do want
occasionally I'd like to. I
occasionally,
would
yeah.
want to get drunk, but
Yeah,
it's
not
just been a
as
while.
frequent as before. Yeah. I just want someone really to have coffee with, to yeah, to just chat and stuff like that. So I think it's really different, right? If it's in person,
Yes.
uh, yeah, it's so much better in person. So especially now that there's many cafes here. So
Yeah, you have a
yeah,
bunch of options for sure. No,
yeah,
I would. It's been a while. I just moved back, and so I'm like in my head, I'm like scheduling people who I'm gonna meet on the weekends. I was like, so I have a wedding coming up. Okay, so next weekend, I look at my husband's schedule and make sure that I can fit them in and schedule them in advance, or else it's just crazy.
how do you view girls, or let's say girl friendship or girls in general throughout the years? So in elementary, I do have a really great experience with friends. Like I'm lucky to have, you know, friendship like from elementary because I still have those friendship now. Those are like the good times I can always, look back into until I, went to high school, which is like I do not like high school. Like it's just a lot of bullying and like how petty people can be, especially
Yeah.
females. So I think in high school it really tainted how I view females, like female friendship and stuff, because like I said, I mean I was betrayed by like someone I trusted, my friend, and there was just a lot of going on with me in my life, like I don't know, I was kind of more focused into like guys more than like with friendship. I mean, like, women were just kind of like on the side for me, like not side on the side, but like I wasn't really thinking too much about like female friendship. But now I have a family, I have my man, I just feel like that's something I wish I do have, because like it would be nice to bond with someone, like especially with you know, a woman that you can relate with and hang out with. I think that's probably what's lacking for me right now. I mean, it's so nice to connect with you guys, like through this podcast. I think we don't really dive deep into this kind of conversation, right? I think the only time we have is like through this podcast. So it's the first time I actually know about like the drama you had like in the first year in high school. I mean, I kind of had like the vibe that something is off, like from what I heard, like from the other you had like a beef, but I didn't really. I don't know. Why didn't you tell me? Like,
I probably told you, but you were probably occupied about something else back
yeah,
then.
like yeah. I think I was just busy about relationship and like
Yeah.
boys. But yeah, I was like that. Yeah, but right now I do have my family, so yeah, it's kind of when things because life has gotten monotonous. Like it's like doing the same things every day, seeing the same people every day. Um, I just miss the things we do like with girlfriends. So, but right now I am definitely, I am not judging other women because or like they do girly stuff because like, I think women are amazing. It's like, really building that friendship. And yeah, I don't think women are shallow. Like I probably think like women are shallow before, like as if like I'm a different one. But yeah, it's very nice to connect with other females, and I am not closing my doors on new friendship. Yeah, I think I am actively looking for friendship if I can, if I have some time. But yeah, but for you, you're kind of whatever comes. So
Yes, I mean, my life changes so much that at this point I don't like
especially you're a new mom, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a first time mom. I have been moving like crazy. I've just started a new
Yeah.
job, starting this podcast. I have a lot of new things going for me right
Mhm.
now,
Yeah.
and I need to take a pause.
Yeah.
I need to take a pause for a second,
Mhm.
collect myself, and when I feel like I'm not completely closing the door, but I'm not actively looking per
Mhm.
se. But
Yeah.
you did ask earlier, like, how do I perceive women right now? Back in the day, like you mentioned, I thought that people, I mean, women are just really petty, and like
Yeah.
they have like the superiority complex where I
Yeah.
have to be
Or
above
competitive,
you,
something.
and stuff like that. And I kind of hated that, that idea how women are, and like you have to always prove yourself, which is kind of it sucks, because you already have to prove yourself to yourself, and now you have to prove yourself to other women, which is, I feel like, a lot. We always have to
Right.
present ourselves a certain way, make sure that women approve,
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
ways, like the way we dress, the way we look, how we present ourselves, how we talk to other guys. It
Yeah.
was just a lot on my shoulder, and so that kind of makes me avoid women, kind of,
Mhm.
in a sense, especially back in the day where in high school and stuff like that, it was really challenging to gain those friendships because of what happened to me in freshman year. And
Yeah.
after that, it was like a ripple effect. I didn't really have any friends because they were the popular kids. And what the popular kids say is what's going to happen in school. So
Yeah.
it, I
Yeah.
was friends with people who didn't really have friends,
Mhm.
and it was a challenging high school experience.
Yeah.
And like in college, there's just a bunch of women, and at the same time we were in the same class. I felt like despite that we were friends, I know that there was like internal like competition without us really
Yeah.
saying to each other, but deep inside I feel like we were in competition with each other, but we just didn't want to say it out loud because we know that it was going to ruin our friendship. And people
Yeah.
were just like, I see you and I'm gonna beat
Yeah.
you. It's crazy. I'm not sure if people are willing to, like,
Yeah.
be truthful about that, but that
Yeah.
was how I felt in that case. In a group of women, it was challenging. We're like 10 in our group.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's like you mentioned that like I love that you mentioned that we're always like seeking for women's approval, which is so true because I remember whenever we would go out with Japan and he would mention that we are gonna have his friends, and he mentions that I was like, oh, okay, fine. And then he mentions that they're gonna bring their girlfriends. I was like, wait, I have to get ready. I have to, look my best. Like
Yes.
it's like aggressive. Like I would tell him like I would even ask Jivan like, who do you think is the hottest one? Like, of course he's gonna say me. Like, why would he say someone else? But I would tell him like, no, like imagine if I'm not your girlfriend and like, if you would actually view it, like am I the you know? And I actually like that. I mean he's not really like restrictive, like you don't have to wear this. Like I
Yeah.
would go all in and he would, like, do I look hot? Like he said, yeah, you look hot. Okay. So that means I look, like I don't
You always
know.
have to
But
present yourself. It's like it's almost like
Mhm.
a runway show at this point where
Yeah,
you have to it's like modeling, like I'm gonna be
yeah.
you're like
You're
auditioning.
not like looking for the guy friends. Like you're looking at the
No.
girlfriends. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
because they're looking at you for sure. Like that girl is looking at you.
Yeah.
So,
You
you
know that
know.
they're judging you by the
Mm,
what you wear, how you
yeah.
look,
Look,
and
yeah.
everything else.
Everything. Yeah.
And so
Like how, woman's gaze. Like it's so easy to like, man gaze is like probably you can show a cleavage and that's it. Like, I think that's probably how like all they see. Like for women, they look at like how you do your makeup, like how good you did your makeup, and how you dress, and
yes.
probably also how you present yourself. Like everything. I think we really look at.
Yes. It's like
Yeah.
it's like going for an audition, like you're getting judged for everything that you do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's
I'm the same way.
exhausting.
So when Landon tells me like,
Mm.
"Hey, I'm going out with the boys," and then you're coming with, is it just the boys?
Yeah. It's just
If it's just the boys, you'd see me in sweats and a hoodie. And if
yeah.
there's women involved, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I think we
this is what.
really we do this for the women. So
I mean, I want to get to the point. I'm actually at the point almost where I do it for myself.
mhm.
Where I feel confident. If I put makeup on, that's really me spending the time to do my makeup. And I feel like that's also like a confidence boost, because if you know that you look great, it will just illuminate. You will just, you'd be, the energy just comes out if you feel confident and you feel like you look good. Because if you feel that way, I feel you just does that make sense? You feel more
Yeah.
confident. You present yourself way better. It's because you know for a fact that, hey, I know I look good, so I
Mhm.
am confident that I look good. So if you look at me,
Yeah.
I know I look good. I feel like it's
Yeah.
also like a confidence boost. Before, yeah, that used to be like my mindset, whereas like I have to, gain this person's approval of how I look, how I present myself, how I dress. But now that I become a mom, that idea has
Mhm.
slowly diminished into like I don't really care how I look right now because I'm exhausted. But when I do have the time to get ready, I'd be like, I'm gonna look my best. Because you don't
Yeah.
see this often because I'm a mom now. But
Yeah.
yes, it's a lot. But
Yeah. It's a bit different for me because after I gave birth to my daughter, of like you can already at that time I was very young. I was like 19. So I wanted to bounce back right away as fast. Like after I gave birth, um, we were discharged already from the hospital. I wore shorts, like very tight, short shorts, and then the nurses were looking at me. I don't know. Like I just have this idea that like the stereotypical like when you become a mom, like malosyang, and like you would lose your, you know, you're not hot anymore. And I guess I was too wrapped with like what people think of me, like especially like when you become a mom,
yeah,
because your body changes. Like there are changes in your body that you cannot really change anymore, even if you work out. Like my hips, like I don't know, like the bone structure, it's so weird. Like it's so different when you become a mom. Even though I did work out, like my body back then, like looking back, like I was hot at the time, and I was like so critical of myself. Like at that time when I was super fit, like when I was very active in the gym, I would like I did like YouTube video, and then I
yes,
should I was very conscious. Like when I was editing the footage, I was like, oh my god, like my stomach is like a little like it's not as
little
flat
bump,
as,
yeah,
yeah, a little buff. And then now looking back, at that video. Oh my god, I was so skinny. Like I was so hot. Like, oh my, I even showed Shiba, like, look at that. Like, you did that. Like, don't look at me right now because like I'm not that.
Yes. No,
I'm not
I look back too. I showed Landon. I used to work out too, and
yeah. Mhm.
when I was working out, I showed Landon this photo because that's when we
Yeah.
started dating. I was
Yeah.
working
Look
out
at
when we
that.
started. I was like, "Look at that girl. She ain't that no more. Um, this is what you
But
did to me."
I know I always tell him that I can go back to that anytime if I wanted to. Like I but I'm just not gonna do it because I'm just I'm so like just comfy. I just feel comfortable with him at this point and like
Yes.
yeah. But
I feel
yeah,
like we're just trying to point the blame at them because we look at our bodies and be like, I could have done more, but I don't want to.
yeah, yeah. But it's like a reminder that I look like that. Like so,
Yeah. Yep,
yeah.
exactly. That's funny. That's
Yeah.
funny.
When I was going to the gym, that I was really looking forward to have female friendship, but a lot of the women there were like, I'm not judging, but it's just not the type of woman I want to be hang out with. Like my generation, it was like Zumba ladies,
Yeah.
like their age group, right? So I can't really connect with them the way I would hopefully want to connect with like my same age group. So yeah, I don't know where I can find them. I keep looking, where can I find like girls? Like, my ideal of, because let's be real here, you do have like an ideal for friendship, right?
Yes.
I don't know. I have this, I do look at their appearance. Like, oh my god, I feel like I'm judgy, but like I find attractive girls like I want to befriend them, but not so attractive that they're like, I don't know, like not super attractive, because I did have like a friend where they were very super attractive, and whenever strangers, like, people would go to me to know more about that person. And I just felt, so little about myself, like, okay, it's so unfair that I did, I was held resentment towards her for that. Like it's not her fault, but I just like, like distance myself from her because like she's so popular and because she was so pretty, and I was friends with her. We hang out and people would just, walk towards me because I'm close with her or something. So
For
yeah,
me, it's like I wouldn't say that looks completely matter. I guess the same style, because I feel like if you have the same or similar style, it would be easier for you guys to communicate about certain
yeah, I
things.
think style.
So
Yeah, yeah.
if this person presents themselves a certain way that you feel like you don't vibe with,
Yeah,
why
yeah.
would you even try to go to the next step
Mm-mm.
when you know
Yeah,
for a
exactly.
fact that you guys wouldn't relate with each other
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you clearly have different interests in style itself. So
Yeah,
if
I
that is
should
like a
just,
big thing for you, like let's say, because I feel like style contributes to interests. So
right.
how you present
How they
yourself,
present. Exactly.
kind
Oh
of.
yeah. Now that you mentioned that, like the friends that I decide to really go at, like let's be friends, are like what I also want to be. Like
Yes.
how I also want to be presented. So it's like I I do find like I like them, like I admire, how they present themselves, and that's also what I want to be with. I like, I aspire to be some sort
So it's
in
like
that way.
you have to surround yourself with people who think alike or dress alike or have the
Yeah.
same, like, you know, because if
Mm-hmm.
you guys are alike, then you can represent each other, you can uplift each other as well.
Yeah,
So
I
it's
think
like,
so.
I feel like
Right.
that's kind of what you are trying to go for. Like if you
Or
ever like date,
right.
if you look up to them or you feel like you want to be them
Yeah.
or similar to
Yeah.
that person, you want to
Mhm.
befriend them because you kind of want to get to know how they are able
Yeah,
to maintain such, you
that's
know.
true.
I feel like your
People,
challenge there was you, despite that it was not a competition, you kind of felt like it was
mm,
because it
people
was
were,
because
yeah,
people would reach out to you for her and then you feel like, oh, I'm not pretty enough for you to
yeah,
ask
yeah.
about me.
Yeah.
So you always have
Even men
comparison.
would ask me, yeah, men would approach me like, do you like, and I thought it was like asking about me or anything like related to our subject or like school or
Yeah.
whatever. And they would ask me about her. So I was like, oh, I'm just like a bridge to, I didn't like that feeling. So I distanced myself. And I just thought that maybe I'm a bit like a bad person for feeling that way. um but
Y-
initially I didn't think of her as a competition at all. I just really found her nice and sweet girl. It was just until people would just talk to me and ask me about her. Like I'm
Yeah.
not her.
I'm not her
I'm not her.
assistant.
I'm not her assistant. I don't know. Like I don't know where she is. Like they would ask me stuff like that, and I would just feel like, okay, yeah. It really. I also my confidence was just like it really. I just at that time I just realized, oh, I'm really not that pretty because like you know you can just ask her directly. Like why do you have to go?
Through
You
you.
know? Yeah.
Yeah, that I understand why you would feel that way. It's challenging because I get that because when I was in college, there's 10 women in my group.
Um.
So a
Yeah, it
lot.
really humbles you. That I think that really humbled me. But just I'm grateful because like I can just stay in my lane. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then my friends were, oh goodness, you would see suitors after suitors, flowers after flowers, people asking me about where my friend is.
Oh, yeah.
And there's 10 of us, and there's like, it's like almost they kind of like men would kind of rank us because like we're
Mm.
10 women, like who's the prettiest out of these
Oh,
10?
yeah.
It was rough, being with these women. And at that point, I felt like I was in the bottom three out of the 10. And because it was just really challenging to compete with them being popular, them being pretty, them being smart, them being in a dance group, them being like in a group where it was a lot of popular people. So it's like we were kind of known to be like the popular girls ish, but I was in the bottom of the popular list, the popular
Like the
group.
tag along,
Yeah,
like
basically. I felt
you're
like a
like in
tag along.
Euphoria. You're like the I forgot her name.
I've never seen it, but it's
Oh yeah,
basically
but yeah, tag along.
yeah, I was
Mhm.
basically a tag along with the popular kids, I was like,
Mhm.
I felt I wouldn't say like a servant, but it felt that way.
Did
The
you
back
kind of
burner.
resent them for that or
At first, I did, but then I moved on. I was like, well, what can I do? You know?
yeah, it's not their fault,
Yeah, it's not their fault. They're popular, pretty, and they know how to dance. You know,
okay.
I
Maybe
don't know how to dance for crying out. I could try. I can
yeah.
sing, but dancing was a thing. And then it was just harder because I also got left behind because I had to go to work, and then they were in third year and I kind of wasn't in their class anymore and stuff like that. I fell behind and wasn't really in the clique anymore. So I eventually moved on and be like, okay, well, I'm just here. I'm just here. I'm just like a ghost just floating in the background. That's kind of what I felt. I'm sure that wasn't the intention, but I always felt that way. Even when we go to bars, girl, it was rough because everyone would be dancing over the pretty girls, and I'd be the person to defend them. Back off, because I was basically like the guard because no one would
Yeah.
dance with me because everyone was dancing with her, and I'll be like,
Mhm.
back off. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was kind of my role. And so in the US, that changed because people of brown skin apparently
Oh,
it's pretty here.
in the
So
market, really?
yes, I feel definitely more appreciated here. I feel definitely more prettier here. Um, so that was I feel less judged in terms of appearance here. We can definitely tackle that at a different time, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely a competition in the Philippines as to who's the prettiest woman and who
Yes.
who you get to get approval from, who you have to prove yourself to. It's a rough market for women out there. I salute you.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to keep up. Okay. So, yeah, I think that's it for today. That's it for today's episode. So I hope you guys find, you know, inspiration from this episode that, it's never too late. I think even though you're an adult, you can always make new friendships, although it's much harder when you are an adult. But yeah, there's a lot of, if you just put yourself out there, like there's so many platforms you can go to, like Facebookers, for example. There's a lot of potential, you know, friends you can meet there and connection, like join events. I think it's really important to start with your interest. Like find an interest and then find a group, with that interest and bond over that interest and like, so yeah, I think that's definitely what I would do if if I am actively looking for friendship is I would go to groups that have the same interest. So
Yeah, and have the same interest and be local because being apart is really challenging to maintain. So if you are local, it's definitely something. So local events, local social medias, I mean, social media groups, is definitely something that you can definitely lean on in terms of trying to actively look for friends with the same interests. And especially in motherhood, it's really challenging to get outside of the house because you're in your
yeah,
comfort zone.
moms are,
Um,
yeah, it's hard because you
it's
have kids and stuff.
yeah, there's a lot of things, but if you have mom friends or you find moms that have the same interests with you, they will understand your crazy schedule and work with you. So
Yeah, that's
definitely
true.
lean on what you have right now, which is the social media platform. And we're also here for you, digital BFFs, and we hope to talk to you on the next episode.
Thank you so much for listening and see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.